there's a lot of seats over here, back here, and I see a lot of old people. That's an order. Come on, swing around over here. My neck doesn't turn in that direction. Just, yeah, come on over, come on over.
I'm young.
Yeah, space for
Hardly. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody. It's a great day for our Army, and it's a great day for Chris Chun and his family getting promoted to the rank of colonel. I want to thank General Caldwell and General Davis for being here, and all the guests and family and friends and the R North family. Thank you so much. Thanks for what you do every single day to serve our nation, take care of our soldiers and service members and their families. It's phenomenal the work that we all do together as a team to do our nation's hard work, so we can enjoy all our liberties and freedoms. And today is one of the great liberties that I have to promote this fantastic officer. And I want to welcome and recognize and thank Ginger for her loving support of her husband and support over the many years they've known each other since high school. And their two boys, Jack and Zachary. How you doing, guys? You want to come up here and stand next to Dad, or no? You can. Come on. This is for the whole family. If you want to all come up here, I'll leave it all up to you guys. I'm going to talk to you. It's just a great Army family. Chris, this is a great moment. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this. Really do appreciate it. Chris Chun is an Army brat. Was born, actually he's got green in his blood. Was born at Fort Belvoir Hospital a while back. I won't talk about your age and stuff, but he came in the Army in 1989 after being in the ROTC program, Distinguished Military Grad from University of Miami, with a Bachelor's of Science in Marine Biology. Comes in the Army, Medical Service Corps officer, gets commissioned, and then spends these last 23 years really serving in the breadth and depth of Army medicine, all over. Chris has done it all. He spent most of his assignments in Germany, in Korea, and at Fort Sam Houston, with 1 year at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, when I dragged him to Fort Bragg for a year. And I'll talk about that in a second, the reason why we did that. But Chris has served on the TO&E side, the TDA side, the institutional Army side, training and doctrine development, as well as the healthcare delivery side, and the operational side, field medicine and those things. So he's got it all, complete package, a lot of experience, has done a phenomenal job everywhere he's done, taking care of soldiers, getting the mission done, taking care of families, and really great service to our nation. And we're real proud of him. He's deployed to Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm early on, very young in his career, after coming in 1989, thrown into that battle, did great as a junior officer, and then had a service in Bosnia, deployment in Bosnia in the 1990s, and then really one of his highlights of his career, I thought his highlight was working with me, but it wasn't. His real highlight of his career was serving as a battalion commander, the 16th STB, Special Troops Battalion of the 16th Sustainment Brigade in Iraq for 15 months, where he led his battalion in Iraq in support and sustainment support to all the combat forces conducting the mission over there. And he did an absolutely fantastic job, and I'm sure that's one of the reasons that was used in the criteria of why a board selected him, based on his potential at the next rank and taking on these much greater duties and responsibilities that he already has. I've only known Chris for the last 10 years. 2002, I was the 18th MedCom commander, had an opportunity to go to Korea, and I noticed right away there was a 168 Area Support Medical Battalion, and Chris was the XO. It was Major Chun at the time. He was the XO, and I learned very quickly in the first few weeks who was in charge and who ran the place and who knew every detail about the tough mission of the 168. Those that don't know, the Area Support Medical Company, a TONE unit in Korea, is involved in delivering health care every day, day in and day out, to soldiers and families at 15 different clinics and installations from Area 1 through Area 4 in the whole, peninsula of Republic of Korea. So Chris had to run the healthcare side and really lead the company commanders, running their organizations to do what we do, brick and mortar healthcare delivery, like at MedCents and community hospitals and installation. And at the same time, he had all the TONE equipment to quickly convert to the fight tonight mentality should something happen in Korea, which is a phenomenal feat with everything from the motor pool and maintenance and the training of everybody and being ready to receive profis and support of the 2nd Infantry Division should hostilities break out on the Republic of Korea. And Chris just did a fantastic job. He's one of those guys that, we all have like a little black book, or maybe we don't have a black book, but, there's two sides. One is the yes side of people you want to serve with again. And Chris was like at the top of that list. I quickly learned that I needed him on that list in case I ever came across an opportunity to serve with him again. And so time passed by, or went on. He was in Germany, and I was at Fort Bragg. I commanded the 44th, but also was the Corps surgeon for 18th Airborne Corps for General Vines at the time. And we needed a new ops officer. Scott Dingle was leaving as the Med Ops officer, really the deputy surgeon Med Ops officer in the Corps surgeon cell. The Corps was getting ready to deploy in about 2 years time frame, I think, when you came in, or a year and a half time frame. So I found an opportunity. I called him on the phone. I said, listen, I really need you here. It's your choice, but I need you here, so get over it. But he did. They packed up, moved the family, came to Fort Bragg. What we didn't know it was only going to be for 10 months. Chris came out, got selected for command, and was activated for command. And it really, for him, he's with the 18th Airborne Corps, going out the door in like 6 to 8 months, or whatever it was. And at the same time, he's been working with the Corps staff, part of that team. Gets selected for command, and so he came to me and asked me for my advice. I won't tell you what I told him, but he didn't take it, and he went to command. No, he did. He went to command and did a phenomenal job, serving different duties and responsibilities, but serving his country in another important job, because all these jobs at senior level are important for our Army. He did a great job with the Special Troops Battalion deploying and stuff like that. And so I got to meet up with Chris again here. I command the AMED Center and School right over here. Recently got in there, so I don't really know anything about it yet because I've been on the road. But it is absolutely a pleasure to promote this officer to the grade of colonel. And thanks for asking me again. It's really an honor, Chris, and a privilege to do that. Appreciate it. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and publish the order.
Attention to orders. The President of the United States repose special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Christopher H. Chun. In view of these qualities and his demonstrated potential for increased responsibility, he is therefore promoted in the United States Army to the grade of colonel by the authority of the Secretary of the Army.
At ease. Practice work, Colonel Chris Chun. We also have a special, everybody please take a seat. We also have a special award, the Order of Military Medical Merit, 2M3. That's part of the AMED Regiment, the Army Medicine, Army Medical Department Regiment. This is a special award that inducts Chris into the regiment, and it's for sustained excellence over many years and contributions to the success of Army medicine and thus our Army. And so it was with great privilege that we go ahead and read the citation, and I'll go ahead and present this.
The Order of Military Medical Merit is a unique private organization founded by the Commanding General of U.S. Army Health Services Command in April 1982 to recognize excellence and promote fellowship and esprit de corps among Army Medical Department AMED personnel. Membership in the order denotes distinguished service, which is recognized by the senior leadership of AMED. Members are given a certificate and a handsome medallion that signifies to all they meet that they are members of the order. You will see members proudly display their medallions at formal AMED social functions.
Welcome to the order. And at this time, Chris had asked me also, we want to renew his oath of office. So, please stand at attention. I'll just repeat after me. I state your name. I, Chris Chun, having been appointed an officer for the Army of the United States, in the grade of Colonel, do solemnly swear that I support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter. So help me God.
General Caldwell, General Davis, Sergeant Wood, thanks for honoring me with your presence today, sir. I appreciate you gentlemen taking your time out of your busy schedules. I'm not really long. I'm not one for long speeches. I'll keep it short. There are some folks that I definitely want to thank. First and foremost, I want to thank every soldier, NCO, and officer that I've ever worked with or who've worked for me, because without them, I wouldn't be here. And that's true. I mean, you know, as officers, as leaders, you know, we're trained from day one. We plan, we coordinate, and our execution is telling others to actually do all the hard work. And there's some folks out here that from my past, Sergeant Major Taylor, Sergeant Major Guy Niles, a bunch of other folks that have worked for me many years ago, and then the reason I'm standing here today. So I need to thank them first and foremost. There's been a couple of mentors in my life that I can honestly say are the reason why I'm here today. First one would be General Bolton, sir. I appreciate it. You've known me for the latter half of my career, and I appreciate all the guidance and mentorship you've given me over the years. I'll never forget, and I know we talked about this yesterday, the OER counseling when I was a battalion XO, and you said, you know, Chris, you know, we'll do what we can to make you battalion commander because you're going to be a great one, but you're at risk in the AMED for colonel if you don't provide direct health care. And I said, sir, you know, I appreciate it, and again, I didn't listen to you. I went the other way. I went back to 1ID, did 90 Alpha stuff again, had a great time, but it all worked out in the end for me. The second person I want to thank is General Retired Paul Wentz, who actually just completed another open heart surgery, and I appreciate him for all that he and his wife Eliane did for me. He was my commander right after I left Easter. I went to 1ID. He was the DISCOM commander, and we were getting ready to head out the door for OIF2. And he pulled me in his office after a meeting one day, and he said, "Hey, Chris, I need to talk to you about something. I've been in DISCOM for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months." And he said, "You know, Chris, I really like you. Eliane likes you, and Eliane loves your wife." And I had no idea where that conversation was going. And ultimately, what it wound up was he wanted me to volunteer and stay back to be the DISCOM Rear Detachment Commander. And I want to thank him for that. I learned a lot. I grew a lot from that experience. I definitely softened a lot of my hard edges in that job. And General Wentz rewarded me when he came back and he gave me the opportunity to be an XO again. I got to be the XO for 601st Aviation Support Battalion. And General Wentz has supported me from then on. He even left Sergeant Major Hoskins back to be my Rear Detachment Sergeant Major, so I appreciate that. And then the final person I want to thank individually is General Swan. I know he couldn't be here today, and anybody that knows me, knows my history, knows that I was passed over last year. It happens. General Swan talked to me the day the list came out, and he said he believed that the Army made a mistake, and he was going to do what he could to rectify that mistake. And so, as happenstance happens, Colonel Fulbright was retiring early, or earlier than anybody expected, and General Swan was more than happy to allow me to stay on to be his surgeon for a good period of time. And for that, I want to thank General Swan and for all the things he's done for me. So professionally, I mean, again, those are the folks I definitely need to thank. My parents couldn't be here for medical reasons, but I definitely have to thank my mother and my father. They've been a backbone for me. My dad was a retired colonel from the engineers. He never forced me to come in the military, but the both of them instilled in me what I believe, obviously, are the values that I hold dear to myself. So between being an Army brat and second-generation Americans, my parents brought a lot of the stereotypical Asian, Chinese kind of upbringing in my family. It seems to remind me all the time to make sure I don't do certain things. Last but certainly not least, I want to thank my family. Jack and Zachary have been with me obviously their whole lives for supporting me. This is a small token for you. You'll get something later on. So thank you, boys. Jack's 11. We're about to move to Korea again. So this will be his second time in Korea, and I think this is his 8th move in 11 years. Zach just turned 9, and this will be his 6th move. So they've definitely gone all over the world for me. They get benefits, they get to travel, and they get to do what they get to do. And then last, but certainly not least, my wife, who's been with me for, well, let's just say, we started dating when I was a freshman in high school. So it's been a couple of years, 1 or 2. Thankfully, I actually grew a little bit from when we first started dating. We never could catch up. You've been with me, supporting me, you've done everything that I could have ever expected. At least 2 more weeks. 3, and then hopefully back here. Settle down. I appreciate everybody showing up today. I am overwhelmed with the amount of emails and phone calls and the number of people that came here, especially the folks that came from out of town to be here for this event, and I thank you. And we have a small reception here in the small main conference room. If you'd like to join us, please do so. Thank you.